Alright, how's it going everybody, and welcome to another class guide. Make sure to check out our previous ones if there's a specific class that you play and I haven't covered, we'll be getting to it. But if there are classes that I covered, check them out. I got Warrior right now, Alacrian, Thief, and multiple. And then this next one here is going to be Condi Renegade. So, with Condi Renegade, you're probably wondering already, why did I start this guide video not in the aerodrome, right? Because there's one thing about Condi Renegade, okay? And is that you need dungeon currency for a specific rune. So this is the NPC you talk to. You spawn here next to the Fractal portal over at Fort Mariner Waypoint. You're gonna talk to this guy. So you will find this directly under Twilight Arbor. You will click that for armor, and you're gonna see here that he sells Superior Rune of the Nightmare, and you'll need 6 of those. So make sure you get farming. You need to farm Deadly Blooms. Each one costs 120. So 120, multiply that by 6. You're gonna need that exact amount. So I've already spent this, so obviously I'm at 532 now, but I had more, so I did work for it. But you're gonna need this. It's 25 Condi damage, and it has on 6, if you have full runes, you get 10% Condi duration. You deliver an attack that transfers a condition and blinds nearby enemies after using an elite skill. You get a lot of Condi. You have 10% Condi duration, and it has 100 Condi damage. So you want to farm dungeons. The best way I found to do the dungeon is to do Dungeon Frequenter. It is an achievement you will always get, and you will find it under achievements, Dungeon Frequenter. Not only do you get free 5 gold, just make sure you do the ones that aren't ticked already. So after every time you finish Dungeon Frequenter, you get the option to choose what dungeon currency you want. So I would recommend, personally, you do Twilight Arbor Dungeon, do the paths, and then finish Dungeon Frequenter, so you can get that rune that you need for raids. And I would highly recommend you do that, because this is the way to do it for raids. You do wanna get this rune as soon as you can, because it is very powerful. Okay, with that explained, we're gonna head into the aerodrome and we're gonna explain the build and all that shenanigans. So let's go right now. Okay, you guys, so here we are right now at the aerodrome with the golem. And the first thing, as usual, we're going to start with is equipment, then the build, then we're going to talk about the rotation. And oh man, you want to go grab a drink and chill out for the rotation explanation, because this class, rotation, is not easy. It needs a lot of timing and it needs a lot of energy management. So I'm going to be talking to you guys step by step. It's probably going to be a long video, okay, especially the rotation part. Because there are 2 variants that we'll be talking about, and those 2 variants include Righteous Rebel and Without Righteous Rebel. Very briefly, I will explain what Righteous Rebel is. As Renegade, you have the ability to press F4, which is like this, and it is an AoE that gives alacrity. Just keep in mind that if you go Righteous Rebel Condi, that is because you're not playing with an Alacrian. The Alacrian version is different. The Alacrian version is going full Diviner gear, and his sole purpose is to give alacrity. As a Condi Renegade, if you play Righteous Rebel, in short, people call it RR, you need 2 Condi Renegades going for this trait. Because if 2 Condi Renegades go for this trait, you can maintain a very good amount of alacrity. So that's the general rule of thumb. So you don't need more than 2 Condi RRs, right? And if you're playing full Condi damage, you're going to go Lasting Legacy. So that's going to be the significant difference. And by the way, the Righteous Rebel rotation is different from the full Condi one. And in my opinion, the Righteous Rebel rotation is slightly more difficult than the general Condi Renegade rotation, because with Righteous Rebel, you have to manage a little bit more. You see your energy, if it goes in a certain legend stance, How you're gonna maintain it, I will explain to you how it's done. So that's gonna be later on in the video once we enter with rotation. So let's go ahead, guys, and explain first the equipment, okay? Equipment, like we said in the beginning of the video, the rune we're gonna use is Rune of the Nightmare. Now, all of the stats you see here are Viper. So I have Viper, Viper shoulders, Viper chest, Viper gloves, legs, boots. They are all Viper. Okay? Then you're gonna go maces. They're gonna be Viper. You're gonna go axes. They're gonna be Viper. Short bow is Viper. Viper backpack. Pretty much all your trinkets. They are all going to be Viper stats. Now that we talked about the whole Viper shenanigans, the sigils. Superior Sigil of Earth for your mace. Okay, so that inflicts bleeding for 6 seconds upon critically hitting a foe, and you're going to be critting a lot, and the cooldown is 2 seconds. So you're going to inflict bleeding, adding more towards your condition damage. So that's a really good sigil. So make sure you get that. And for your axe, you're going to go Superior Sigil of Doom. Your next attack will inflict 3 stacks of poison for 8 seconds after swapping to this weapon in combat. And believe me, you're going to be swapping a lot. Not only you're going to be swapping legend stamp, but you're going to be swapping your weapon in accordance with to which legend you have. So that's going to come in later. So keep this in mind. And finally, short bow. You're gonna go Superior Sigil of Geomancy and Superior Sigil of Earth. Like we said, Sigil of Earth inflicts bleeding for 6 seconds upon critically hitting a foe, and Geomancy, you inflict nearby foes with bleeding for 8 seconds after swapping to this weapon in combat. And like I said, you're swapping a lot, so you're gonna want this extra bleeding, this extra condition damage, and that really increases your overall damage. So that's it for the equipment, okay? Next up, we're going to be talking about the build. So this is the build, right? We're going Invocation, Corruption, Renegade. Now, if you've watched my Alacrine video, this is going to be kind of similar to you. The only difference is Corruption. That is a very good, that's a very good trait if you're going to play Condi Renegade. So, Invocation. Invokes Rage. You gain Fury when you invoke a legend. So every time you invoke a legend, you get Fury. Huge. Pretty self-explanatory. Just remember, you have to be in combat only. You can't just use this out of combat and get free Fury. Next up, Rising Tide. While your health is above the threshold, you inflict increased damage to your enemies. Just that simple. If you're above 90% health, you're going to inflict increased damage, and big damage is all you really need. The other trait is invoking a legend removes a Condi. You don't care about this. You're a Condi Renegade. Your main thing that you got to do is DPS. And the final trait in this column is you gain stability and heal yourself when you break stuns. Again, you don't give a shit about stability. Other people give you it in the raid group. You don't need this. Next up, deal increased damage and condition damage to targets when you have Fury, and you're going to be getting a bunch of Fury. So keep this in mind, is that you gain Fury when you invoke a legend, so you already get Fury, and other people can also give you Fury. So it's just a DPS increase, so go for it. Next up is Spirit Boon. Invoking a legend grants boons to nearby allies based on the legend that was invoked. So if I was in Malek's stance, conditions currently on you are ineffective, and it stacks on duration. So you get resistance. If I invoke a legend, my Kala legend, I will get retaliation. Pretty simple. What are the other two options? Heal yourself and gain swiftness when you use a skill that has energy cost, right? So you heal yourself, you gain swiftness when you use a skill that uses energy. Pretty self-explanatory. You're gonna get a lot of swiftness. Rather, you're gonna get a bunch of heals, and it's only 500 heals. Wouldn't consider this the way to go. I would rather just give my people retail. I'll get retail, and I get resistance, which is really good. Condi's not being effective on you is really good in many of the raid bosses. Spirit Boon is really nice. And finally, gain might when you grant yourself Fury. Now this one's actually not bad. in description, right? You gain might when you grant yourself Fury. The might that you get from this, remember that it has to be in combat only. And if you were to remove Spirit Boon, I honestly would pick this option if you want to get out of Spirit Boon. But Spirit Boon is a really, really, really good trait. And I would go for this because you're helping your team. And not only this, but Malik's resistance, when you invoke it, is really nice. And it keeps you alive. So in raids, it's really, really good. Next trait is Contained Temper. You gain Fury when you disable a foe. And you are going to be disabling foes a lot. This goes for anything with stun, dazes, knockback, pulls, knockdowns, etc., etc. And part of your rotation actually includes using these things and disabling your foes. Your Dark Razor is a daze. Your 5 is a pool. You slice into the mists, and after short duration, it will collapse on itself, pulling in enemies. So you pull them with this, and it's part of the rotation as well. So keep this in mind that you have personal CC as well. And finally, you have Charged Mist. You invoke a legend while at or below the energy threshold. Grants extra energy to your new legend. This is very important. Keep this in mind that when you invoke a legend while at or below the energy threshold, you grant extra energy. And I'm going to show this right now. If I hit this guy, I will get energy, right? I will get energy. This is not part of the trait. You get this every time, right? Now, what happens if I burn all this energy? Okay, burn it all, F2, then Legend Swap now puts me at 75. If I were to not be in combat, this would be a different case scenario, and I would only get 50 energy. So, ideally, you're gonna be Legend Swapping when your energy drops very low, and the energy threshold is 10. So keep in mind that your energy needs to be below 10 for this energy gain to actually apply after legend swapping. So the default would be 50 energy if you legend swap normally, but it has to be in combat. It has to be in combat. That will work that way. So this is really important. Literally, the other two options would make sense. This is a perfect option because more energy means more DPS, means you get to do more stuff in that legend. So definitely for sure Charge Mist. The other options I'll let you know as well. Invoking a legend casts a skill based on the legend you invoked, and in this case each one has different thing. I could go with it one by one if you wish, but you can skip this part if you really don't want to see this. But Call of the Assassin strikes enemies around you, inflicts vulnerability and gains quickness. Gain additional quickness for each hit. This is for Shiru. Call of the Dwarf. Strike enemies around you, inflicting weakness, gaining barrier. Gaining additional barrier per hit. This is for Dwarf stance, and it's just based off barrier. Call of the Demon. Striking enemies around you, inflicting conditions on struck foes. So this is for the Demon stance when you invoke it. It will inflict condies on struck foes. And finally, Call of the Centaur. Heal yourself and nearby allies. Right? That's for not the final. Sorry, this is the fourth one. Heal yourself and nearby allies when you invoke it. Call of the Dragon is Glint. This is not Renegade, but if you would like to know, here it is. Strike enemies around you, inflicting multiple conditions. And Call of the Renegade is obviously when you swap the Callous stance. You strike enemies around you, inflicts bleeding, and you gain Callous Fervor. You gain additional Fervor stacks for each foe you hit. Keep in mind that Callous Fervor is something you're going to hear a lot. Basically, when you hit enemies, you get Fervor stacks, and once you get those Fervor stacks, you get increased overall DPS. And the final one is Critical Hit Chance has increased effectiveness when you're under the effect of Fury. The reason, again, this is too good. I would never pick these two in any situation. Charge Mists is literally the core trait that you need to maximize your DPS. So always go Charge Mist in my opinion. I wouldn't even consider any of the other two options in this case because the energy legend swap is too important and it's too huge. And it is literally the reason you can get so much high DPS, or I wouldn't say it's the reason, but it is a main reason And it works well with your like weapon swapping as well, because the cooldown for legend swap, when your legend stance runs out, you can weapon swap to the legend that you wish. And yeah. Next up, corruption. This is the one that's going to be very important because it is very condition focused, right? First option, invoke torment. Charge up and release a burst of torment energy on nearby foes. So you release a burst of torment on nearby foes. It's just that simple. This happens, keep in mind, this happens when you switch legends. So you're going to be switching legend all the time on this. So you want this. You want the extra condition effects. Torment deals increased damage. Very, very obvious. You're Condi focused. You want increased damage. Demonic Defiance. You gain resistance when you use a legendary demon skill. You don't care about this. You don't care about this at all. You have Spirit Boon for resistance as well. So, replenishing Despair while maintaining an upkeep skill. Your energy pips are increased, but you apply Torment to yourself every interval. So you get pip. And I'm just not a fan of this. The whole idea is you don't want increased energy. You want to burn energy to legend swap. That's the whole idea. That's why we go charge miss, so we can legend swap when we fall under 10%. This is the first option. You deal 10% increased damage. I would always go for this. Next up, your condition damage is increased for free. Doesn't need explanation. Free damage. Gimme, gimme. That's what I'd say. Gimme, gimme. Right, Pact of Pain. Conditions you apply to foes last longer, but conditions applied to you also last longer. So, keep this in mind that if you apply Condi to them, which you're going to be doing all the time, they last longer on the boss that you're hitting, and you want them to last longer. That's the whole point, is that you're going to have a lot of ramp-up time throughout the entire boss that this will keep on tormenting, burning, bleeding. It's going to keep it going. And Condi Renegade has very long ramp-up time, so you want to play this class against raid bosses that don't phase often or don't phase at all. An example would be Veil Guardian Wing 1. In Veil Guardian Wing 1, the boss phases at 66%, meaning that he is invulnerable. And when a boss is invulnerable, can't receive damage. And guess what? This class heavily revolves around the fact that the boss doesn't fully phase, and you're able to add continuous Condi damage throughout the entire boss fight. So the longer the fight is, the more damage you're going to have. And in raids, bosses take a long time to die. So this class is insane in Condi-focused bosses. Okay. Demonic Resistance. Damage is reduced when you have resistance on you. Okay, don't care about this. How many times am I gonna get resistance all the time? Like, and you don't care about damage reduction. You have heals. First trait in this column is when you chill a foe, you also inflict torment on them. Just no, thank you. I would rather have longer Condis. That would be the real increased DPS. Next up, damaging conditions you apply last longer. So just like that, this Condi applies to foes last longer. This damage Condi applies last longer. So, does it need explanation? You get so much. Finally, Diabolic Inferno, rather. I don't know how to say this right now, okay? It's Diabolic Inferno. I'm gonna go with that, okay? And you can make fun of me in the comments if you want. Invoke Torment applies poison and burning. And seeing as you're going to be applying a lot of this poison and burning, you will get also Torment. Next up is Invoke Torment grants resistance. Resistance heals you every interval. We don't really care much about healing, so we skip this. Invoke Torment transfers conditions from you onto foes. It's not really that much of a DPS increase compared to this, which applies poison and burning. So that's it for these two Renegade stance. So this is the core one, obviously. Heroic Command. I'm not going to get too much into what this trait is, but basically, they give you access to new abilities. You get Heroic Command, you get Citadel Bombardment, and you get Orders from Above. So, It's those 3 abilities that you get access to. F2, F3, F4. Ambush Commander. When you critically strike or attack your enemies from behind or their flanks, you'll inspire yourself with Callous Fervor. You gain access, of course, to the Citadel orders, meaning F2, F3, F4. Now, you're going to be attacking the boss from behind all the time. Most of the time, you're going to be behind the boss, you're going to be damaging, and the tank will put himself in a position where his team can hit the boss from behind. So, this is like giving you for free, which is nice. So, fervor stacks all the way. Right. Fury, increase the duration of bleeds you inflict. Gaining Fury inspires you with Callous Fervor. So, more bleeding, more poggies. That's all I gotta say. The bleeding duration increases by 25%, by the way. So you can see where we're going with here with all this build. See how we're always extending our duration of these conditional effects. And this will increase it further. So you want to go for that. Next up is disabling a foe cripples your enemies, which leaves them vulnerable and inspires you with Callous Fervor. Don't care about disabling a foe. Don't care about none of this. Just go for the more DPS. That's the way. More bleeding is the way to go. And keep in mind it's by a 25% increase. You do not want to miss out on that. 25%. Next one is this one here. Evading an attack inspires you with Callous Fervor and grants boost to nearby allies. And here's the thing. You don't even want to evade or dodge that much on Condi Renegade. There are some situations where you have to dodge, yes, but I would never invest into a trait just for that. And it's not even worth it. It's not even worth, like, even if you do evade an attack, it's not even worth going a full trait just for that. Just play for increased bleed DPS. That's going to give you more damage overall. And by the way, I wanted to mention, I'm going to skip to this trait real quick since I talked about this. When I say dodging is not something you want to do on Condi Renegade, unless you absolutely have to and you have no other way, there's something you need to know here. While at full endurance, increase your chance to critically strike. Gain vigor when you gain fury. When at full endurance, increase your chance to critically strike. I want you to read that. Meaning that if you don't dodge as often randomly, you literally get free 33% critical chance. So you wouldn't, ideally, you wouldn't dodge so much. Unless you absolutely have to and it's like a life or death situation, right? If you see you have stability, I don't have to dodge. If I see I have Aegis, I don't have to dodge. Watch your boons. Keep an eye on them. See what you have, see what you don't have. Endless Enmity. You gain Fury when you critically strike a foe below the health threshold. So just like that, when the boss drops at 50% health threshold, you're going to be gaining Fury. So just like that. Now, the middle one. Heart Piercer. Your shortbow skills now pierce. Bleeding you inflict deals more damage. So it's not so much about the pierce, it's more so, by the way, pierce, by the way, it just generally means that your arrow is gonna go through the body, through the hitbox. But it's not the main reason that we go for this. The main reason is because the damage increases by 25%. Bleeding you inflict deals more damage, and that's huge. You want DPS increase? Play for the middle trait. That is the way to go. Right. Next one is Empowering Roar. Ferociously roar, gaining several boons. When you break a stun, unleash an Empowering Roar. Or do I want increased damage with shortbow, which is literally a main weapon I'm going to be using very often in Malik stance. So you decide what's better. I think this is 100% the way to go, and you should also go for that. Boons, your team gives you boons anyway. And you should just focus on doing your job and just DPSing. Right. Next one is All for One. Using legendary abilities. Legendary Renegade abilities grants protection to allies near the summoned warband. This is not something I go for on Condi Renegade. It's a different story entirely. Focus on DPS. Don't focus so much on trying to give your team protection. Alright? Skip that. However, this is something I go for on Alacron. That's a different story. If you want to see my Alacron guide, it's in the description below. You can check my playlist there and see the Alacron guide, which includes this specifically. Brutal Momentum, like we explained already. I'm going to skip past it since we talked about it. Now, here's the very crucial one. And you're going to keep your eyes on Righteous Rebel and Lasting Legacy, okay? This one, I'm going to talk about it right now, by the way, real quick. Gaining Callous Fervor grants you Might. Citadel Bombardment pulls more missiles into Tyria for every stack of Callous Fervor affecting you. Skip it. Skip it because the other two are really, really good. You're better off going for the next one here I'm going to explain right now, which is Lasting Legacy. Callous Fervor. You inspire, lasts longer, and is more potent. Heroic Command grants more might per stack of Callous Fervor. Your F2, by the way, is 10 energy burn. Okay, keep this in mind. 10 energy burn. Sometimes if you mess up your rotation, or it happens, it's a very hard rotation. You would 3 and then F2. You would 3 and F2 to quickly burn 15 energy to legend swap. Sometimes you might not make it all the way to 0 and you're like, oh shit, I messed up my rotation. Then you can press F2. And at the same time, you're giving people all this. So, and it has a duration increase by 50%. Now, last one, Righteous Rebel, if you're going to play Condi RR. RR equal Righteous Rebel. Callous Fervor reduces damage you receive from conditions. Orders from above last longer and affects more targets at a larger area. So it's literally just going to look bigger. So this is how it looks when I have it enabled, right? See the area of effect? See how big that is? It affects 10 players too. Okay? Now, here's it without it. It's going to be smaller, and it's only going to affect 5 people, not 10. And also won't last longer. So you're going to use this if you're going to play Condi RR. It's very common to play this on bosses like Soulless Horror, Matthias, bosses where Condi Renegade is very good. People sometimes discuss this. If you have an Alacrin in your team, forget going Righteous Rebel. The Alacrin will single-handedly give Alacrin to everyone. And he's going to be going Diviner. So his role as Alac Renegade will literally just be to press F4 and do his rotation. Okay? But if you're playing... So basically, here's how it is, right? If you play full Condi damage, Lasting Legacy. If you're playing Condi RR, play Righteous Rebel. And we're going to talk about this, alright? As we do our rotation. Which is going to be very, very exciting. This is the part where you guys want to grab your drink. As you know, in the beginning of the video when I said grab a drink and get ready for what's about to come, well, it's about to happen. This rotation is not easy. This rotation requires time. This requires effort, time, and a lot of serious practice, serious energy management, because we're going to talk about a lot of things. And even I mess up often sometimes on this class because it is not easy. These are the food types that we use. We use koi cakes and toxic focusing crystals. There are other options. The other option would be plate of beef rendang. And I want to check if it is actually on the TP. Plate of rendang. And it is right here. Plate of beef rendang gives 100 condition damage and 70 expertise. This right here gives 100 expertise and 70 condition damage. So this is very good, cheap alternative. So I use it for now. I use koi cakes and I use toxic focusing crystals. So that's the food type you're going to eat. Big hitbox boss because of Citadel Bombardment. You can see the hitbox of this, right? When I hit the boss like that, and most of the raid bosses are big. So they're going to have big hitboxes. Right, so how do we start? Where do we start? What do we do? Okay, so here we go. I have the boons, I have the buffs. Okay? Now, I want to highlight something very important. When you're in Callous stance, you're going to have your mace and your axe equipped. When you're in Malik stance, you're going to have your short bow equipped. Okay? So, don't have axe mace equipped. Right? Do not have these equipped when you're in Malik's. Have your short bow. Because with Torment on your elite, and your ability interaction is all adding burning, bleeding, you want to have short bow on Malik's, Callous stance, axe mace. Okay? Or mace axe rather, because keep in mind that you're holding mace in your main hand and your offhand is axe. Okay. Right. Let's begin. This is gonna be this is gonna be really long. So get ready, guys. Alright, so here's how we start the rotation for full Condi damage. This is Condi Renegade default. No RR, no nothing, just damage, okay? So here's how it's gonna go. I'm gonna show how it is, and I'll try to speed talk over what I'm doing. So you guys are gonna have to pay very close attention. But don't worry, I'm gonna explain this twice. My first explanation will be fast explanation, and my next explanation will be slower, okay? But here we go. We start 5, F3, then 3. Using 5, F3, 3 will burn a shit ton of energy. This is 35, this is 10, this is 5. So right here, 35 plus this, that's 45, plus this, 50. So you burn 50 energy right in the beginning instantly, okay? So that's 5, F3, you press 5 first, F3, then 3. So here we go, we're gonna start this now. 5, F3, 3. Legend swap, Malix Elite 2. Swap 2, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1. Legend swap, 2, swap 2, 3, F3, 5. And then 2, and then 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. 1, 1, 1, 2, E, T, 3. Swap, Elite, 2. Swap, 2, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1. Swap, 2, swap, 2, 2, 3, F3, 5. And then 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, E, T, 3. Legend swap, Malix stance. 2, and then swap again. 1, 2, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1. Keep spamming 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1. Swap 2, swap 2, 3, F3, 5, and then 2, and then 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. So as you guys can see, there is a loop. The rotation is a continuous loop, and it's just about managing your energy just properly. Now we're going to talk about every single step, but I have to do it in a way that's like kind of slow for you. But if I slow down my rotation while explaining this, the energy will just mess up. So ignore, for this part of the video here, ignore my energy. I'm going to explain the steps, not the energy management, okay? So I'm gonna be 100 energy, doesn't matter, okay? I'll tell you when I am low energy, okay? So you start your rotation on Callus stance, and you have your axe maces up, okay? You're gonna press 5 as your first, and then you're gonna press F3 on top of the hitbox, and then you're gonna press 3. This costs exactly 50 energy in the beginning, okay? So now our energy is 0, okay? Next up, you're not gonna weapon swap, you're gonna legend swap. You legend swap, you will be on Malix stance. You will elite. The first thing, think of this like this, right? Every time you swap to Malix stance, the first thing you're gonna do is activate your elite. Just think of it like this every single time. So this way you can't forget. So whenever you're in Malix stance, use your elite. In my case, it's the G key. So I press G, I have the M4, it's mouse button 4 as my other alternative. And here, while you're still on this, on axe maces, you're gonna press 2, okay? And then you're gonna swap immediately. After you press 2, swap immediately, okay? Then you're gonna press 2, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 1, until your 2 comes up. And then you're gonna press 2, and then 1, 1, and then you can press 3, and then 1, and then 4, and then 1, and then when you drop 10% energy, you will legend. What? Pay attention here, okay? I will be under 10% energy. I will legend swap 2, swap 2, okay? Then 3, F3, 5. Okay, you got it? So think of it like this, right? 2, 3, F3, 5. 2, 3, F3, 5. When you swap to Kala. Okay, so remember, that was short bow 2, then we weapon swapped 2, 3, F3, 5. Now, try your best not to make the mistake of using Soul Cleave Summit. This can happen. You might be like, oh shit, I thought I was in Malik stance. I fucked it. I fucked my rotation. Don't panic. It happens, okay? It's not the end of the world. It can happen, yes. But you basically don't want to use Soul Cleave as Condi Renegade. You want to use the other abilities. So, anyway. Back to where I was, right? 2, 3, F3, 5. Okay, and then you're gonna 1, 2. Why do you 1 and then 2? Because your 2 won't be up. So you're gonna 1 and then 2. Because your 1 won't actually be up on it, and you want to just add that little bit of extra DPS. And then you're gonna do 2 chains of 1. So that's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. You're gonna do it twice. So 6 ones basically. You want the full chain. Each chain has 3, so it's 2 chains in total. So like this, 1, 2. Basically, that's 2 chains, right? Because we attack 3 times. And then you're gonna 2 after. And you will see your energy. Here's the energy, okay? Of Ice Razor and Razor Claw. Don't use Dark Razor, okay? So it's Ice and Razor Claw. Okay? This costs 20 energy. This costs 25. Okay? So in total, 20, 40, 45. 45 energy. Now, it's okay to be on 50 energy when you do this. Because remember, this trait that we talked about, energy gain 25, energy threshold 10, keep in mind of the energy threshold 10. So it doesn't have to be exactly that amount of energy left, you get me? So 20 and 25, right? That's 45. So even if it reaches 50, you would have 5 left. So the max you would reach is 55. But even then, you're using your Echoing Eruption as a finale, okay? Which uses 5 energy. It will drain any excess energy, and it will finish it off. So 20 plus 25 is 45. Plus 5, that's 3. You used... quick maths. Yeah, quick maths. I just memed myself. Alright, so 20 plus 25 plus 3. In total, that's 50. Okay? So even if you were to reach more than 50, it's not the end of the world. Because you would be able, right, to fully drain it to be under 10%. So you would, right, you would press Ice, Razor, 3, Legend Swap. You would be on 0 energy or under 10%. And then when you're back in Malik's, you're gonna use your Elite, and you're gonna press 2. And then you're gonna swap, and then we're repeating 2, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then 2 again, 1, 1, 1, and then 3, 4, right? 3, 1, 4, 1, and then Legend Swap, 2, Weapon Swap, 2, 3, F3, 5. And we repeat the whole thing. Now, you guys can look back at the video, slow-mo it if you want, or look back at the explanation, but that is the explanation for this rotation, okay? And yes, as you guys can see, it is not easy because it needs to be fast. Here's the thing about this. You need to be quick. If you're not quick, and I am in combat, right? I'm in combat. And if you're not quick, look, my energy is going up. I need to cast abilities right now. I need to cast abilities right now, because if I don't cast abilities, I'm going to reach 100 and then I'm screwed, right? And you don't want that. You don't want that at all. Now, I want to explain something very important here. If you're in a situation where you have 100 energy, okay, let's say. I am at 100 energy, okay? And I am in Kala stance. And, you know, sometimes it happens, like, if you're on a boss and he's, like, in the beginning, like, Doom, for example. When Doom is coming, like, you'd have, like, 100 energy, right? You'd be max, he's, like, on his way, he's climbing down the steps, he's walking to you. You're at 100 energy. How do you drain this in the most effective way possible without using Soul Cleave? Because remember, Soul Cleave drains energy per tick, right? Look at my energy. It goes down slowly, you know, and that's like a, you know, you think, like, that's a good way to burn your energy, but there's actually a really good way to burn your entire energy, and it rolls around using Razor Claw, Ice Razor, your F3, your 3, your 4. And And just like that, we burn our entire energy. Now you're gonna have to be pretty fast. That's the Condi Renegade Rotation. I'm gonna now do the rotation without talking, so you guys can see the full layout of it. Hopefully without making mistakes. So here we go, guys. And that's the rotation. This is the DPS. Got around 32.8k DPS there, maximum being around 39976 peak. With that being said, I've done even better than this. I've reached like way higher. My peak is a lot higher than 32.8k. But that is the general showcase of Condi Renegade. Full DPS, right? Now, you guys, we're going to talk about the Righteous Rebel variant, which is going to be a lot different. Let me go ahead and respawn the golem. Now I'm going to show you guys the rotation for RR. It's going to be the same idea, by the way. The only exception is we're going to be using Order from Above, which will cost 20 energy. So we need to now differently manage our energy. And we're going to have to differently manage our weapon swap cooldown, because by the time we finish our rotation and we use F4, we're dumping more energy than before. And you're going to use F4 every time it's up. So here's how we're going to do it. Get ready, because there's a whole lot of energy management in this one. Oh yeah. We'll start nice and slow, okay? We're at 50 energy. How do you dump energy at 50% when you're playing RR Renegades? Remember, Righteous Rebel. So you will start with Razor Claw, your 3, and then your F4. So it's going to look like this, okay? That is going to be your general opener, and then you swap the Malak stance, okay? T3, F4, Legend Swap, Elite, 2, Weapon Swap, 2, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, Legend Swap, 2, 2, F4, 3, F3, 5. Only when your F4 comes up you use it. Look at my Weapon Swap cooldown. Look at my Weapon Swap cooldown. We can't use it right now. We can't. And then you will T3, Legend Swap, Elite, 2, Weapon Swap, 2, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, F4. Okay, 2, Embrace Darkness. Use your 4! Just like that. 2, 3, F3, 5. 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. 1, 1, 1, E, T, 3, F4, since it already came up, so we have to use it now. elite. 2, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And then 2, 1, 1, 1. And then 3, 1, 4, 1. Legend swap. 2, 2, 3, F3 and F4. And then 5. And then 2. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. Look at that. T3, F2. I'm gonna have to press it. Swap. 2, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, F4. Okay, you spam once. 2, Embrace Darkness. 4, Legend Swap. 2, 2, 3, F3, 5. It's really overwhelming to explain step by step. But I mean, like, in terms of like slowing it down, because there is no slowing down in this. I can only tell you one thing. You use your F4 in both legends. You have to adapt your rotation after you use it. And the way you do it is in Malak stance, you would stop using your elite. Okay? It would be active, you would deactivate it. And then when you get enough energy to use Spirit Crush, use it. You will use this, it costs 12 energy, and then after using it, you will Legend Swap. Okay, so this is the idea, right? Is that you're gonna drain your Malaks empty with just rotation, okay? And then when you're done, it goes back up because you elite of Malaks loses energy every few seconds, right? You can disable it, it will gain energy, and then as soon as I have enough, I will use this, and then I will Legend Swap, and then 2, and then I will do my full rotation. 2, 3, F3, 5, all that stuff, right? Now, your F4 is gonna fall into one of those legends. When it does fall into one of those legends, you're gonna change around your rotation slightly in accordance with your energy. For example, Ice Razor. Don't use Ice Razor if you use F4 in Renegade. You're going to use this, and then you're going to use 3. This will be enough. You know why? Because Ice Razor is 20 energy. Orders from Above is 20 energy. Look at that. So, you're basically replacing Ice Razor with F4 in this case, right? Because it costs the same energy. Just think of it like the F4 key here is basically Ice Razor, and you won't find it too hard. Just remember, when you do swap, as you know, like you saw, I swapped a Renegade, I have my F3 and F4. I press them together at the same time, and then 5, and then 1, 2. Okay, and I just use 2 twice. You use your Searing Fisher twice when you're in the stance. And then obviously you would just T, and then 3, so you would just do this. And this alone can make you Legend Swap to Demon stance. So now I'm going to do the RR rotation without talking, so you guys can see every single step I'm doing. I'm gonna put it this simple, right? Whenever you're in Kala stance and you use F4, you don't use Ice. You only use Razor Claw. Like I said, Ice Razor 20 energy, this is 20 energy. So think of it like literally like that. Think of it like you're just gonna use this and then 3. And then you're gonna swap. In Malak stance, if you use F4 in Malak stance, you're gonna fully drain your energy completely with this. Drain it completely. And then you're gonna use your Spirit Crush, which costs 12 energy. So you're gonna use this. When you see your energy go up, you're gonna use this. Legend Swap, Short Bow 2. And then swap your weapon. 2, 3, 2, 3, F3, 5, 2. Obviously 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And now, oh look, I don't have to use my F4, so I can use Ice Razor. If my F4 is on cooldown, I use Ice Razor, and I use Razor Claw, and I use my 3. Okay, that is if my F4 is on cooldown when I'm in Kala stance. If my F4 is on cooldown in Malik stance, I can just do it normally. And just do the general 1, 2, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 1, 1, and obviously you're gonna use your whole thing 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. If your energy comes up at the last 20%, use it, then swap. It will vary sometimes depending on how you're walking in the boss, and you have to adapt your rotation based on that. You know, if it comes to it, this is the way to do it. Now you know how to play Condi Renegade for both full DPS Condi Renegade and Condi RR. And as you can see, it is not an easy class. It is not an easy class to get to. You need to practice a lot, and it has a lot of energy management, muscle memory, and speed. You have to be very fast. If you're too slow, you may gain a little bit extra energy that you didn't want to gain, or that excess energy was too much and you gain too much energy and you have to drain it really fast without using Soul Cleave Summit Elite skill to drain energy. Anyway guys, this has been a long video. Thank you all very much for watching. I am pretty sure this is almost 2 hours video uncut because I did quite a few takes. But I hope this helps out, and hopefully this video isn't 2 hours long. Because I don't want it to be 2 hours long. I want it hopefully to be at least an hour or under an hour. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. It's a long one, guys. Thank you all very much for watching. Hit me up, guys. Hit me up on Guild Wars 2. My name is Alninio. It's just Alninio. It's going to be on your screen right now. .5964. Follow me on Twitch.tv. Make sure you guys click on the links down below. Hop in our Twitch community. Join us. Feel free to join us. I play Condi Renegade in raids. I play Alacrin and Fractals. I play a bunch of classes, so you guys can come in and ask me questions. I would be very, very happy if you join us, guys. If you join us, be part of the community, and that's all I want. That's all I want. I want you guys to hop around and be part of the community because you guys are awesome, man. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm gonna talk about this quickly because I really like the comments that you guys give me. I really enjoy replying to them, talking to them, like talking to you guys about like the specific classes and questions you guys give me in the comments, and it makes me proud that I'm able to do this and like be knowledgeable with the classes that I'm playing and be able to share my information and help people get into raids and help people get into these classes and play them and improve at the game. And that really makes me glad that I am able to do that for people, you know. And I'm telling you, the Guild Wars 2 community is awesome. You guys are great, man. You guys are there, you know. You guys are there when sometimes when I play other games, people aren't always there. You know, it's a different situation. Like with Guild Wars 2, it really feels like a community, and I really feel like this game needs more content to begin with because I'm pretty sure you guys check on YouTube. There's a lot of outdated content or things that are just not really in this year, 2021. I aim to make it like this, right? This is my goal. I want to make cool guides that help people out, get better at the game, and all those great things, okay? Anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that this video has been helpful. Take care, guys, and God bless.